Welcome to the Body Talks podcast with me, Dr. Brooke Sheehan. I'm a chiropractor extraordinaire who speaks the language of the body, not to be confused with body language. Join me on this show as I disrupt current beliefs about where health comes from and how you can discover your greatest health potential without having to spend hours away from your life's work in order to do so. Because reaching these levels of health is possible once you learn how to carry on a dialogue with the greatest creation to ever exist, the human body. By tuning into the whispers your body speaks and addressing them, you avoid the potential damage that is created when the body begins to scream, allowing you to experience healing in a whole new way. This show will guide you towards true health so you can continue to change the world. Your body holds the answers. I'm here to help you discover them on the Body Talks podcast, starting now. Welcome to another episode of the Body Talks podcast with me, Dr. Brook. I am so excited you're here today, and I'm confident that you will learn something new over our time together. I'm very, very excited to bring to you today my podcast coach, and she has no idea that I was about to do this, but if you are ever thinking or if you've ever thought about starting a podcast, Kornelia Stephanie is your girl. I have not only gained experience in starting a podcast, but she has also been personally coaching me on different areas of my life, and I could not be more thankful and grateful for her presence. I am so again, grateful that our paths crossed, and I just want to bring to you today, Kornelia Stephanie. Do you want to say hello?
Hello. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'm blushing.
Absolutely. You're so incredible, and I just love you, and I just want more people to know about you and just know what kind of person you are and what kind of services you offer. So for all of you who might be thinking about, hey, this is my year for a podcast, reach out to me. I'll get you connected to Kornelia because she is absolutely phenomenal. So on that note, though, that is not what we're going to be talking about. We're actually going to be taking you through what a telehealth visit looks like with me, Dr. Brook. Now, a lot of the work that I do is really connecting a person to their physical health, their spiritual health, their emotional health, and their mental health. And when you have all four legs of that aspect of your life in order, you're really able to open up many, many more opportunities and really live out your soul purpose. So my audience, or a lot of my clientele, are a lot of entrepreneurs who are running businesses and doing a lot of work to expand humanity, to make changes, to make a difference, to live, create a legacy that their family, can hang on to many, many years, centuries down the line, right? And so for many entrepreneurs, they're very driven in the financial leg of their lives, right? They are constantly, driving after building the product, building the service. How is it going to look in the bank account? Making impact, of course, like that's why entrepreneurs, 95% of them, I would say, I would not say 100%, there are those people, but 95% of entrepreneurs go into business to make a difference. And they're really working on that. However, they negate their physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental lives. And we've seen this so many times over with examples like Steve Jobs. His body was whispering to him many, many years before his body completely could not handle it any longer, and pancreatic cancer manifested. So many times we hear about these health challenges that people experience in their lives. I've had my own. Kornelia can share some of her own, but we've had challenges in our lives where if we listened and cued into the whispers that the body was speaking, it wouldn't start screaming at us. But thank God we started to listen to those screams, because oftentimes you don't get a second chance. Sometimes all of these diseases do happen and it's the end of the road. But we're here. I'm here to share with you how you can really learn to tap into those whispers, get your health in order, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, so you can continue to make a difference in the world and live out your soul purpose. So, Kornelia, I mentioned earlier, she is my podcast coach, and we've done some amazing work together over the last few months. And, I've got introduced to her like late last year. And, we went through a telehealth visit together. Kornelia, do you want to share with the listener what some of the challenges you were experiencing health-wise that you wanted to seek out care for?
Yes. And I just want to say, the same way that you were shining the light on me earlier is the same light that I'm going to shine right back to you. And that is, I'm just so grateful to you that you showed up in my life because, I was, as one of those entrepreneurs that you were talking about, I've been pretty diligent with my health care, except for I haven't had a doctor visit or a doctor checkup or any kinds of checkups like in a long, long time, So I've been my own doctor, and so then here comes along Dr. Brook, the body whisperer, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. So you were just like what the doctor ordered for me, which is now why I wanted to be open about my session that I had with you and share with the audience, share with the public what it is that you do and how it's helped me and how you can help so many other people that are around the world with what it is that you do. They don't have to be physically with you in California. So one of the health challenges that I came to you with is over the past year in COVID, during COVID times, I also went into menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was always one of those people that I never claimed any of the menopausal symptoms because I know how important it is not to say I am this and I am that and I have this and I have that, and I know how important that is. So I didn't have any of these experiences, but I did um, put on some belly fat. That
Mm-hmm.
I did have that. So all of a sudden now, and then especially with what happened in COVID being online, and even though my business has been online for years, but I don't know, it all just came to that place. So when I came to you, I said, I'd like to address my belly fat. I'd like to address what took place. I am in a hormonal transition phase now as a woman in her saging time, and I'm okay with that. I don't have any issues around my age or weight. I don't have any judgments on my body, but I would like to get to the bottom of this and what this is, because I was thinking, is it hormonal?
Mm-hmm.
Is it my thyroid? Is it all these things? And I discovered a huge gem with you because you were the kind of doctor that I want to talk to. You're my partner, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're going to help me, because I can talk to you about these kinds of things that I wouldn't necessarily be able to talk with my regular doctor about, which is what the problem is in the first place. So, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So the health challenge was the belly fat. That's why I came to you. How
Mm-hmm.
can we get rid of this?
Right. So you and I originally talked about that when we set up the visit. I had you fill out an intake form, and you kind of shared that with me, the belly fat. Well, the work that I do, there's an intuitive side, and then there's you have to have knowledge in order to have intuition. If you heard episode 3 of the podcast, Dr. Roberts spoke about that. There's in order to have really good intuition, you have to have really good knowledge about how the body is functioning, what's happening as well. So I do a lot of muscle testing, energetic testing, really being able to tap into the body using a certain system per se. Like if we think about a computer, to simplify the understanding, if we think about a computer, I can't get Google to show me search results unless I either type it into the computer and tell Google what I'm trying to look for, and then it will submit information back to me. So the body is not going to show any information or tell me any information until I input information or speak to it, send, a message to the brain, or like, in terms of speaking in with Kornelia, putting input into her system so that her body responds to me and goes, hey, this is what's going on. So when I was doing the telehealth visit with Kornelia prior to setting up and putting her whole entire treatment plan, a big factor that came up was her liver. And so as I'm doing the testing, everything was showing up liver. The liver was, having a hard time moving through fat metabolism, getting through the detox pathways, doing all of its functions. Now, the liver, like, it has about 500 different jobs in the body. It is like one of our major organs. And it's an organ that people don't really think a whole lot about. People know what their liver is, but it's got 500 different jobs. So it breaks down fats, it breaks down hormones, it builds up hormones, it deals with cholesterol, it creates vitamin D, all of these things that we don't necessarily think of. And so when I'm testing into Kornelia and there's a lot of liver stuff coming up, I was like, okay, this makes complete sense with what she's dealing with, the belly fat, menopausal, all of those things that happen as a result of the body increased hormones, all of these things. So the liver's not able to break down that and to get it out of the body quick enough or fast enough. Plus, there was also a genetic component showing up to be her ability to actually rid her body of toxins. So many people talk about wanting to do detoxes without really understanding if they have genetic pathways that could be inhibiting those detox pathways. And so you really need to look at all of these factors before going into that. I will share on the other side of this break a little bit more about how that works. But for now, let's click over to a break. Kornelia and I will be right back with you. Welcome back. Thank you again for being here. As I was mentioning before the break, the liver is responsible for so many different things in the body. And I don't think we give it as much credit. And sometimes people actually damage their liver through lifestyle choices. So in the case of detoxing, if you have genetic, predisposition to something, you may or may not detox properly. So it's not a good idea to just start detoxes just because you heard your sister-in-law, brother, cousin, so on, second family member, whatever, did a detox and they got so healthy and they lost so much weight. Just because it was right for them doesn't mean it's right for you. You have to really look into that. And so when I was working with Kornelia, I was going through all of this. Her liver and detox system was showing as an issue. This was showing as a point of stress on her body, right? I'm looking at how are the organs functioning? How is every other system in the body functioning? Is there stress from electromagnetic frequencies in the air? Is there stress from dietary or supplementation, coming into the body? Where are these stress points and what is the body seeking for care? So the way that this works is the body has a priority system and it's working in what is the biggest thing that needs help. For Kornelia, that was her liver. This is what was saying, hey, I'm here. I need some assistance. And once we start working through the liver and moving through this whole treatment that I've been working with her on, maybe something else will pop up. And that will say, okay, thank you so much. The liver's going to say, thank you so much for all that help. Now I need assistance with this, and it's about really just learning to tune in and listen. And that's what I get to have fun and help you guys with. So for Kornelia's treatment plan, and just for the record, Kornelia did allow permission to show this. This is, doctor-patient relationship, HIPAA laws, but she has, graciously allowed us as viewers and listeners to be able to see what's happening with this. So in the case of Kornelia's treatment plan that I laid out, once I was done with my testing, as I mentioned, detoxing as a part of a genetic issue was showing up. This affects her hormones, her ability to like lose weight. She had some sinus issues. All of that is going to be affected by the liver. One thing about the liver also, histamine. You know, when you have sinus allergies, all that, histamine is a big driver for that. Liver breaks down excess histamine. So, you will see a note on this document that says there are also 7 old injuries and a little bit of negative energy that needed clearing. So I'm going to speak about the injuries really quick, briefly. Injuries that are old, whether minor or major, can circulate in the body. The brain keeps a memory of that. And essentially, it can affect your REM sleep. If you think about hitting your elbow, you immediately your eyes look down to the injury. And so think about as your eyes are moving through REM sleep, it gets caught in that position before it can move to the next position. And it gets caught. And so you need to erase old injuries out of the body. Control Alt Delete. If your computer's running slow, you have to hit Control Alt Delete, close out the program that's running slow in order for it to function appropriately. The body is no different. In fact, the body is way more complex than a computer, but hey, we understand computers a little bit better sometimes than the body. So clearing out, I energetically cleared out those old injuries and energetically cleared out the negative energy that she had around her. This allows her body to heal better. So bilateral upper traps, the very now going into the treatment plan, the muscle activation. Bilateral upper traps, these are our upper traps here. If you're looking on the, or if you're listening on the audio, it's basically essentially the muscle that is at the end of the neck and at the beginning of the shoulder. And that really helps release a lot of tension and stress. We kind of hold all of this in here. And that was one of her exercises or one of her things, part of her treatment plan. Now, in this case, it says a percussor. A percussor is like a massage tool, but it just kind of percusses and then it kind of releases the tissue. So it's kind of like a massage tool, but not. I know that can be a little bit confusing. So because I don't have the physical tool like remotely to be allowing, Kornelia to use, if she doesn't have the percussor, this is like tapping that she can do. So for right shoulder 1 and 2, this would be right shoulder 1, which is the front of your shoulder. Shoulder 2 is the side of your shoulder. Both of these points relate to different phases of liver detox. Phase 1, liver detox, phase 2, liver detox. For lack of time, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the different phases of detox, but just know that there's 2 important stages of liver detox. It's important to move through both of those so you eliminate all the toxins out of your system. Now, I'm just going to really quickly go through this. There was some different points that she would need to do to help manipulate or like get the liver moving, get the liver having, some help, right? Give the liver some help. So part of that was her supplementation. To go to the very bottom of that document, supplementation, she wasn't getting enough vitamin D. Kornelia was taking vitamin D. Now, she was taking vitamin D3, which is great. And a lot of people do take vitamin D3, but they're not told about vitamin D3's best friend. Vitamin D3's best friend is supplement vitamin K2. And K2 sees the vitamin D in the body, grabs a hold of it and says, hey, buddy, let's go into this tissue. And it helps direct the vitamin D3 into the tissue. So you don't just have vitamin 3 free floating in the body. And so she needed to be taking 10,000 IUs a day instead of just 2,000. She was also taking a potassium supplement, which she didn't need. Her body was not calling for the potassium supplement. I told her to hold off on that. Cod liver oil was another one she was currently taking. Her body was unable to process that because of the whole liver issue. So I had her hold off on that. Magnesium, she wasn't taking enough magnesium. So we increased the dose of magnesium that she was taking to help her body. Magnesium is a very important mineral that really aids in immune system function, in the way our bone, how healthy our bones are, so many different processes, kind of like the liver, right? Methyl Renew was actually a new supplement. So she wasn't currently taking this, but this was a supplement that I recommended based off the testing to help with the genetics, to get those genetic wheels turning and moving so that it wasn't slowed down processing. We got to get that body to detox. We got to get that genetic pathways to move. Now, MedCap's DPO, this was for specifically for liver detox to help move things through the liver pathways. And so between the Methyl Renew and the MedCap's DPO, which were the two that I recommended for her, and the ones that she was currently taking, which I told her to stay on, the magnesium and the vitamin D, we put together a supplement plan that was perfect for her. So anything to add, Cornelia? I know I just went through a lot right there.
Yeah, you did. No, this was so great. This was such great information that you shared about the supplementation. And I think a lot of people do that, where they just think that it's good for them. They're being sold that it's good for them, and then they just start taking it, and they don't realize they're actually toxing their body up
Mhm.
by taking it. So
Mhm.
that's one thing. And the other thing I want to add is just, how intuitive, again, it was to connect with you around, oh yeah, this is the challenge that I feel with the belly fat. And then how right away it directly related to my liver, and right away how you found that actually to be the issues in the body, and
Mhm.
how the liver relates to everything else. So it's so important. And so I'm just so pleased with the progress that, I'm working on, and what you have me on, and what you have me doing. I just want to give, as your podcast coach, I want to give people a call to action of how they can work with you, so that you can, because you're offering these telehealth visits. You did it with me, and I'm already sending you people right now,
Yes.
because I think many people would be able to benefit from you. But how can people contact you for a, free consultation? And also, like, what is the financials look like? Do you cover insurance, or how is that with, is it, affordable? Give us something.
Absolutely. So, yes, it's affordable. The way that somebody can connect with me to start working with me is I always ask that we just do a free comp call. It's about 15 minutes just to kind of see what's going on, see if it's something that, I have experience dealing with. I have dealt with a lot of patients with so many different conditions. So, chances are it's something that I can help you with. But yeah, jumping on that free complimentary call just by going to my website, Dr. Brooks Sheehan, which will be in the show notes if you're listening to this via audio. It will also be in the show notes if you're watching this on YouTube. But I'll put the link there for that. And we can just jump on a free call, see if it's something that we can do to work together. In terms of scheduling a telehealth visit or working with me, prices range anywhere between $30 for me to just kind of review a lab report. If you have gotten labs and your, general practitioner or your primary care physician didn't really review it and just said, check, everything's good. I can review those labs for you and kind of really share with you from a functional medicine viewpoint, like from my eye, what you should be looking out for and what you shouldn't. And then moving on, that's $30, $50 to review all supplements. Say you have a full cupboard worth of supplements and you're like, do I even need to be taking these? Is my body responding well to these? What's going on? That supplement review session is $50. Well, included, like if you do a telehealth visit with me, we do a supplement review as part of that, as well as putting together a whole treatment plan. That runs about $100. And that's a 30-minute session. I do the full testing. I put the whole notes, just like I did for Cornelia, just what you saw. This is an example of what happens during those telehealth visits. And that doesn't include lab work. If we do decide further on, and you'll get to see the second part of this with Cornelia and I when we do go over her lab report and how much her labs actually mirror what I was giving her 2 weeks prior when we did this telehealth visit. But labs we can definitely do, and supplementation. So the cost, for any specific thing I would say is $500 or less, depending on what you need. Supplement wise, telehealth, all of that, but it's very affordable. I do take health savings accounts or the FSA cards, but no insurance as of right now. But we'll be looking into that in the future. So, yeah.
It's a no-brainer to contact you and work with you. I feel like, so grateful that I have a partner, a health partner, an advocate that knows what they're talking about and that's teaching me so many things. So it's a no-brainer. I would recommend that everybody take you up on that free 15-minute call. And I'm just glad that, you're helping me get to the bottom of this because, I thought it was my thyroid and you told me that my thyroid is absolutely perfect.
It is so perfect, Kornelia. It is so perfect. And you guys will all get to see that too, because she's graciously given her permission for that. So we'll go over that in a later episode. But yeah, so thank you so much for your time, Kornelia. I really, really appreciate all the time spent with you. I appreciate our relationship and just, getting to know you better and working and getting to do the fun work together, right, in life. So thank you all, or thank you for just tuning in to the Body Talks podcast with me, Dr. Brook. I look forward to sharing with you again in 2 weeks. Have a great day and see you all beautiful people soon.
Thanks for tuning in to the Body Talks podcast with me, Dr. Brooksheehan, where you're learning to pay close attention to the whispers your body is speaking so you can live a life fully expressed physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally without spending time and money on healthy items that aren't right for you. You're uniquely made and your healthcare needs should reflect that. To learn more or how you can work with me, visit drbrooksheehan.com, that's Brook without an E, and discover your answers today.